let's really talk about Paulo Dybala and why top teams avoid him. Paulo Dybala needs no intro. You know him, I know him, she knows him. But we will agree that top clubs know him more than we all do. They know that he was shortlisted for the 2017 Ballon d'Or. Not just that, they know he is super skillful, with an impressive goal record for an attacker. Just 2 years ago, he unseated Ronaldo as he was named the Serie A Best Player of the 2019-2020 season. More on Dybala, he is just 28, he's currently free, he's extremely talented. But why is he not blowing up our timelines with top teams trying to snap him up? You know, he likes roofing balls into the tight corners, especially when they are rolling onto him. He's also a dead ball specialist, has played in the World Cup with Argentina, and recently scored the final goal as the Celeste trashed Italy 3-0 to win the 2022 Finalissima. Dybala is no stranger to the big stages of European football. He has spent 7 years on Juve's books, scoring 115 goals and 48 assists in 293 appearances, winning 12 trophies to establish himself among Europe's elite attackers. While some called him the new Messi when he burst onto the scene, he ended the 2021-2022 campaign with 15 goals in 37 appearances. But after all this, there is still a question mark about Dybala. Now let's solve the riddle. Why nobody wants to sign Dybala? First reason, his complicated image rights issues. There is a huge complication with Paulo Dybala's image rights. It has been reported that third-party marketing company Star Image owns his image right. Star Image had paid the Argentine to acquire his image rights as far back as 2015. Those rights are now held by the Malta-based company, which also owns at least 15 trademarks related to Dybala, including international trademarks for Paulo Dybala and a Dybala logo. So his rights are out of his hands and are controlled by Star Image. We all know that Tottenham have been long-term admirers of Dybala and almost signed him in the summer of 2019 for £60 million. But this company Star Image demanded additional £14 million to let go of his image, hence the move collapsed. In this time of merchandising, teams tend to exercise a certain level of control on the image rights of players as source of making revenue, also to avoid conflict of interests with partners. For instance, top Premier League teams like Man U and Tottenham have up to 60 partners and sponsors. Same goes for other top teams across the world. So teams are really skeptical about Dybala to avoid conflict of interest lawsuits or other violations. However, recently reports are that Dybala has resolved his image rights issues after reaching a settlement of $6 million with Star Images. But honestly, we really don't know how true these reports are. The second reason, undefined position of play. When questions about Paulo Dybala's position is posed, like is he really a winger or a striker, most of us go blank like, hence we will address him as an attacker. Dybala is often deployed as a false 9. Sometimes for Juve he played as the number 9, but most times he likes to come in from the right flank, but not necessarily as flankers who play out wide and swinging crosses. I think he's in the same WhatsApp group with players like Coutinho or James Rodriguez, so versatile that they can play anywhere up front, but struggles to pin down a position. No doubt in modern day football, being a versatile player can be seen as a blessing because a coach can deploy the player in multiple positions, but it can also be a curse when some coaches struggle tactically to find a place for this player in some games, especially when some teammates are putting their 10,000 hours playing in one position, building mastery and that muscle memory needed for team cohesion. For this reason, coaches tend to drop Dybala in some games or simply bring him in from the bench. Current Barcelona coach Xavi thinks Dybala is overrated. This has also been exemplified by his inability to hold down a commanding leadership role for a long time in Juve. Most times he tends to fall under the shadows of his teammates like Ronaldo and Higuain in Juve or Messi in Argentina. The third reason, game time. Currently, Dybala can easily be named as one of the top 10 players of South American extraction, alongside Messi, Neymar, Vinicius, and the rest. But mixture of injuries and inconsistency in form means he seems not to have convinced teams enough to justify the £250,000 to £280,000 a week wage he's seeking in his recent negotiations. His wages in Juve peaked at £237,000, including bonuses, according to Salary Sports. Dybala has always quoted £280,000 for Premier League clubs, but honestly I don't see that happening with him missing multiple games a season through injuries. especially when this guy earns £240,000 at Man U. This football genius earns £100,000 at City, while Vini Jr. earns £250,000 in Madrid, according to unofficial reports. These players are more productive currently and are also much younger than Dybala. According to current Juve coach Allegri, Dybala got carried away by trying to be the new Messi. He advised him to get back to being himself. Maybe this will help him get back to the Dybala we used to know. The fourth reason, physicality. Sometimes his demeanor connotes frailty and psychological weakness. This is where perception comes into play in football. He hasn't really convinced many top Premier League teams he will live up to the physical demands of the Premier League. To me, he completes the quartet of Argentine players who always appear like they can't really go the full 90 minutes or always looked overly exhausted from the 70th minute mark of the game. Eric Lamela, Manuel Lanzini, Giovanni Lo Celso are all in the quartet, and James Rodriguez can easily be added to this list as their captain. Of course, these are personal observations and opinions. Latest reports are that Dybala will link up with Inter Milan on a 4-year contract. The move is regarded as a step down from Juve in the scheme of things, and on a more diminutive salary of £5.5 million, way lower than the £11 million per year personal expectation of the diminutive player. The transfer window is still very much open as we await where Dybala will turn up next. But from my point of view, these are some of the reasons why top teams are not so keen to sign Dybala. But what do you think of Dybala? What's your perception of him? Do you think he's overrated? Do you think he can make it in the Premier League or the Spanish La Liga? Do you think I was too harsh on my assessment of him? Please leave your replies in the comment section. And if you really enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. My name is Ghost Miller and I'm done for now.